What's up with showing multiple replays right in lap 2, man? Come on, please.
It's so stupid. I don't get it. Why lap 2? Like, things haven't settled yet.
Exactly.
Just wait a little. Wait till lap 5 at least.
They'll have this one shot from the front, one shot from the rear, the helicopter cam.
Yeah.
It's like they have to justify all these budget costs that they keep spending. Hello, and welcome back to F1 Fanfiction. For anyone new listening to us, we are a podcast about F1 brought to you by two F1 fans for the F1 community. And today's episode is about last night's Qatar Grand Prix. First time racing here, getting into the episode. Let's start with thoughts about this circuit, Sarang. Your thoughts on this circuit here?
I think we are gonna have some disagreement today because
Okay.
I at least like the track from what I've heard from you so far. I think you're not a fan.
I am not. No.
I kind of do agree that it somewhat is. I kind of shared sentiments with you, but not really. Like what I felt at least was that yes, it's a flat track like any other Middle Eastern track in general.
Mm-hmm.
But it had a lot of these medium speed corners and which were flowing into each other, and I think that kind of helped out with the racing that we saw yesterday. And I'm just happy to see we could see some close racing. That's my perspective about why I like this track.
Well, yeah, that's a fair point. But yeah, you're right. I have different opinion here. I sort of just don't seem to like these fast tracks because at that point, if you end up seeing like throttling versus braking, there's so much less braking happening. Tires keep popping, which we'll also start discussing soon. But it's the same thing, man. It's like first of all, it's a weird shaped track for me. Like mentally registering something which is like a 3-pronged fork sitting on something sort of design.
It looks like, a kid kept his hand on the paper and tried to draw it.
Exactly. Poor kid with just 3 fingers there. But but yeah.
Well, they are in Qatar, maybe something happened.
Dude, yeah.
He got punished for it.
But yeah, I just don't seem to like these fast tracks. And I kind of now see why Suzuka is a hot favorite amongst, like, unanimously amongst everyone, because it's got those fast straights, curves and turns and U-turns and whatnot, right? So anyways, but yeah, not a fan of Qatar. They are saying if they come back here, it's going to be like a street race.
Country or the track?
Moving on. No, man. Yeah, I mean, so you raise a good question there, right? There's this brilliant video of Danny vibing to their national anthem, and I love the caption on that one because it says when you're racing in a country where there's no human rights, but the national anthem's a banger.
I think Danny Rick can vibe to any song.
That's true.
Pretty much.
That's true.
He's kind of that guy.
Yeah.
And in fact, I think he's nicknamed as the Honey Badger, right? And I think Crofty or somebody was also talking about this, that honey badgers are like native to Qatar.
I see.
And I think in one of the interviews, I think it was Ziggo Sports who was asking Ricardo about it. Are you aware that the honey badger is native to here? And he's like, one day I definitely want to walk into the paddock with a honey badger with me. I'm going to do that before I retire.
I'd love to see that. I'd love to see him walk into, like, with a leash, maybe. I mean, if it's going to be unleashed, that's going to be even crazier, but maybe a leashed honey badger, for sure.
Yep.
But speaking about Qatar as a track, and I mean, yeah, I think we've established where we are with the track, but like, speaking of the country, I wanna applaud Lewis Hamilton for his choice of helmet and making a statement, and at least, this may never get anywhere, and as drivers, probably these guys have less say in how many races to have, let alone where to race. But with the amount of power he has in his hand, making a statement with that helmet, applaud.
Yeah, definitely. And I was really hoping that, likes of Vettel and Alonso would join him, because they have done this in the past and we have seen that, back in Hungary.
Yeah.
And I was kind of hopeful that these veterans kind of use their clout to push the right causes, right?
True.
But anyways, still, we did have Hamilton representing LGBTQ plus community, so that's awesome. And I hope that these people keep protesting wherever they can in these countries, which are pretty much sports washing, right? I mean, that's what this is all about for them. They just wanna, bury all the other news. Obviously, Qatar is also having the FIFA soon, right? I think it's next year or next year,
2022. But that was an interesting thing. I think there's just too much branding and marketing that's happened with this management change, right? I mean, let's talk about this too, because they did this NBA thing at Kota in the US, and then they had the special penalty kick out session here in Qatar, right? So
here in Qatar, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was I think maybe like a Thursday or a Friday thingy that they ended up doing. But I think there's just too much cross branding and promotions and cash is king statements happening here and there. Oh, by the way, coming back to that track, right? What's up with that killer curve out there?
Yeah, man, that one curve, it was destroying cars, right?
Right and left, man.
Yep. I think most of the tires were degrading there. Every time anybody went from there, it was just pieces of carbon fiber flying away here and there.
Everyone was asked to manage their front lefts, because I think that's the biggest impacting tire that took that curve coming into that right hand turn.
Yeah.
I think both Williams suffered. Bottas went on to collect some gravel and spray on the track.
Yeah.
Who else? Yeah, maybe more. But I think even Norris was almost gonna drive himself out and stuff. But killer curve.
And one more thing, did you notice how much each car was sparking throughout the track? That's one more reason I loved the track. It was looking so freaking awesome, right? Talking about sparking, did you see that footage of, I think, both Verstappen as well as Alonso lapping Bottas, and this guy is just spitting fire from his front wing. It was insane. It felt like it's just a shower of fire from his car, and they're not even bothering.
Especially right when Bottas's tire went off and Alonso was just gonna overtake him, right? It felt like it was a spark mist, the same as a rain mist, and I'm pretty sure Alonso didn't have anything to see in front of him.
Yeah.
But I think almost all low rake cars suffered at this track. There's too much sparks from all of these.
Yep. I think it's basically just that as you talked, right, it's a fast track, so for majority of the track these cars are really planted to the track with all the downforce. So that's bound to happen. If you're never lifting off from your throttle, you are gonna see some sparks.
True that. Some great battles too, for sure. I for one loved Ocon versus Perez. That was an interesting one.
Oh, yeah. That was super interesting, right? I think even Alonso's comment was super interesting for that.
Yes.
Ask Esteban to defend like a lion.
There's a few memes forming there too. There is Alonso saying, ask Esteban to defend like a lion. And then there is another photo of just a lion staring blankly at the screen.
Yeah. And at a point it felt like, when Perez overtook him first, but it actually was, I think, that Esteban kind of gave that position so that he could take a slipstream again.
Right.
But it really felt like he said this comment, and right after that, Perez just like flew past him for a
Yes.
second. And I'm like, okay, that's a lot of defense.
Yes.
But he did try and battle him, and that was really nice. Pretty. They got close, but still, respected each other and gave some space. So yeah, good racing.
There's an interesting quote unquote battle which will come to later in the episode 2 between Gasly and Max, which will come back again. but speaking about this track again, so we keep coming back to the track. Speaking about the track again, I mean, the high speeds, hot temperature with Qatar, I think it was bound to happen that Pirelli is going to be in question for sure this weekend. Right, like
Yep.
it started off with Gasly bursting it off right before end of qualifying Q3. But yeah, Pirelli was going to be in doubts this weekend with the track conditions.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was just like tires go boom everywhere. Right?
True that.
All of a sudden, it's like just tires bursting here and there, and Bottas obviously with this amazing luck, and Mercedes, giving him a very awesome strategy of going long on those tires when Pirelli said that they were only for 30 laps, and I think he was on his 33rd or 34th lap, and well, it happened, and he was limping, throwing sparks, limping into the pit somehow.
Taking gravel with him everywhere.
Yep.
Causing safety cars, or sorry, VSC at least.
Yeah, and of course, since George, who is replacing Bottas, I think he decided that I should like stand in solidarity with him, and
let me see what I need to do starting next year. For sure.
Yep.
Both, I think Latifi's trying to fill Russell's shoe at Williams too.
Yeah.
To see what he needs to do once Russell's gone.
Yeah.
But moving on to the main guy, at least for me, is it took me back to my childhood, man. It's like just seeing Alonso on the podium was, and I'm out of words, dude.
I can see that. I was purposely leaving. I wasn't saying anything because
adding awkward silence for sure.
Exactly.
But yeah, pulling out that one stop.
It was brilliant, man. Brilliant because it's insane. And like, given that he was in a one-stop strategy, and when we could see like tires popping everywhere.
Yes.
I think it's all his experience driving the GP2 engine car and then driving some really good cars before that. I think it all paid off because he was able to hold on to that position. I mean, he started third and he came in third. So, wow, in an Alpine, that's unexpected, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Alonso's the guy you call to get your team lifted up. That's what's happening with McLaren now. I think Alpine's following suit there. I'm pretty sure Cyril Abiteboul, I think, who was Renault's chief principal.
He isn't anymore.
He isn't. Like after Renault becoming Alpine, he isn't. But like, if this was Renault and if this was like last year, I'm pretty sure Cyril would have cried. He would have cried on camera.
That's true. And I think a lot of people were doubting Alonso, right? Like when it was announced that he's coming back from retirement, a lot of people raised questions that, is this the right thing, that, he's kind of washed up now because, McLaren, his stint at McLaren was not really good. And people were like, there are a lot of better, newer, talented, young folks out there who deserve the chance. But I guess nobody else could have done this. I mean, Ocon has been here for a while in Alpine, but except for that win that he got, his performance has been kind of lackluster throughout the season.
Agree.
But yeah, Alonso is right there, especially in the second half of the season. I think he's become stronger, and I think it's basically just them developing the car as per his feedback and stuff. So probably they are like becoming a lot stronger now.
He is the only third driver over 40 to be on the
Over
podium.
40.
7 years later and 105 races later, he's up there. It's just an incredible feeling and an achievement. I mean, for someone who's been following the sport since I think like 2005, 2004, it's just too brilliant to see Alonso up there.
Yeah.
And it's like this sparking difference between experience versus these newer drivers. And I'm not taking credit away from newer drivers because they will get to this point one day for sure. But like seeing the 7-time world champion defend his position, Vettel, Raikkonen, and Alonso lift their teams up. It's experience right there.
Yeah, definitely.
The good part is Alpine's gotten a good advantage in points over AlphaTauri now. So they've taken that lead from them.
Yeah, I think they've taken it away now. I don't think AlphaTauri, if at all, in fact, I'm kind of confused because AlphaTauri seemed very strong this weekend right up till qualification.
Gasly
And
especially
then,
killing
yeah,
it.
especially Gasly, exactly. And then race pace, they were nowhere. Like, especially the two-stop strategy didn't work. I don't know, they pitted way too early, I think. They could have gone a bit longer on the first stint, but I think he was on like the softs, right? So I think that kind of makes sense.
I don't know if they had some PTSD too from that qualifying.
Yeah, maybe some of that. So
Where did he end up though?
I think P10, so he still got 1 point out of it, but not the best result starting at the front row.
Vettel P10? I thought maybe Vettel was P10.
Oh, is it? I could be wrong.
But yeah, maybe somewhere there. So maybe P10,
Right.
P11 position somewhere there. Okay.
Yeah, but so I think Alpine kind of has it in the bag now. With the 2 remaining races, I don't think AlphaTauri can catch up with them.
Yeah, especially like with the mid pack, it's difficult to gain that big of a point difference. So
Yep.
for sure. And with this renewed hope that Alonso's popped up with, I think I could be wrong again here too, but I think I read somewhere that Alpine has been, or specifically Alonso has been reserving a newer engine for Saudi. So it feels like probably they're going to take like a new engine in Saudi. So they're going to have like a new charged up Alonso with a new charged up car for the remainder of 2 races. So probably something interesting coming out of there.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. Though I've heard that Alonso is in some trouble with PSA related stuff.
Yeah, there's this news coming out of the camp that he probably didn't manage his deltas and speeds during the virtual safety car that was being flashed across the track. So, but hey, see, the good part is even if this goes to FIA for regulations and for deciding, it's not coming back until Alonso retires, right? So.
Yeah, that's true. We'll talk a little more about that later. But yeah, FIA, man, those guys are.
I don't know what's happening there.
Yep.
Let's take a moment here just for a few messages, folks, and we'll be back. The season of giving is here. Thanksgiving, Christmas, everywhere. So we are out here to give shout outs to anyone who wants to be heard. Just reach out to us and we'll give you shout outs mid-episode, start of the episode. We don't know yet, but yeah, reach out to us at @F1 Fanfiction on Twitter, Insta. If you want to be way more anonymous, then you can do that too. We'll mention it that way. If you like something about us, just mention that and we'll mention you as anonymous if you don't want your name said. You can also write us on email at contact@F1 Fanfiction. Just, you know what? If you just want one place to do all of these, head over to our website, f1fanfiction.com. Just head over there. While you're there, do rate us on how do you like this podcast so far. Share it with your friends. This is something we are trying to do, where we are trying to build an F1 community of banterful people. So share it with your friends. Let's bring everyone into this together. And lastly, while you're on the website, buy us a coffee. This thing takes time, money, and resource from Sarang and myself. So buying us a coffee helps us. With that said, let's get back into the episode. Man, we got checked out yesterday.
Yeah. I think this is a new meme after Stroll because what's wrong with these race directors? Why do they keep showing fans right in between action? I don't understand. Like, it's just so stupid.
And even the fan felt a very bit awkward. I guess like he was just on the screen all of a sudden with a Mexican flag holding. I feel it was a bit stereotypical, right? Like Checo overtakes Ocon on that brilliant fight, and then as soon as it cuts to a random fan with a Mexican flag.
Yeah. And they showed him, I think, 2 or 3 times and all, which was very weird. Yeah. I mean, it felt like, like he was literally the only fan there for Checo. And they kept showing him again with the hopes that, people might think that there's several fans for Checo.
Yeah, there could be multiple brown folks, but I think like Sky Sports wanted to be, or whoever was broadcasting wanted to not be racist. So sure, let's just show someone with a Mexican flag at this point.
Yeah, but regardless, amazing performance by Perez. P11 to P4.
Yes.
Amazing recovery drive. Qualification didn't go as well, but I guess he completely, paid for it in the race. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, he would have been the driver of the day if Alonso was not up there on the podium, because the next best thing to happen yesterday was that climb from P11 to P4. He's gotten very comfortable with the car, and if he continues this way into the trailing 2 races, I see him going a bit long. I think you were saying, right, like he could be what Bottas was for
Mercedes, right? Yeah, pretty much, exactly. I think it seems like he has gotten quite comfortable. If he is able to maintain this performance even in the next year's cars and thereon, he definitely will be the Bottas for Red Bull, because I think like Max and Red Bull are gonna go hand in hand for sure. Like this season proves it. Like the team is with him and he is definitely with the team. So they needed the second driver who can really fight for those P3s and P2s, and I think they have Perez who can deliver that.
Totally. He's I mean, Bottas is getting bullied quite a lot this season already. Yeah, man, I mean, we've been joking about this for the past few episodes, that there is this Sunday bully system where their race engineers get together to see how we want to bully Bottas, and if they don't succeed, Bottas does it to himself. But this is, I think, like the nth race now where luck's not been on his side, and Perez has totally capitalized that situation for Red Bull, and bringing Red Bull yet closer to Mercedes for that.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. And it's insane. Like 0 points, and then like how much do you get for P4?
12?
18? 12? Something like that? Yeah, whatever. But still, like that has really clawed into their lead.
Yeah.
And I think they're only 5 points ahead now, right?
Yeah. Mercedes and Red Bull, yes, 5 points differ them.
I think Mercedes has been doing terrible at strategy recently.
I agree.
Yeah, because yesterday's decision was stupid to make him go long when they saw... I mean, everybody knew what happened with Gasly's tires, so it was not like people didn't know that was a possibility.
I think they're overly using Bottas as a shield to keep Hamilton. And it's not like Hamilton was going to suffer anyways, right? Like, he's just got a brilliant car. So Bottas wasn't needed. I mean, if that is... I'm assuming that is what they were trying to do, to keep Checo not reaching up there.
Probably.
But yeah, not a smart move from their side.
Not a smart move at all, yeah. And I think with this, they are causing more harm than what would have happened even if like Checo reached there.
Yeah,
it's stupid. It doesn't make sense. I think strategy-wise, Red Bull has been doing great this season. Even in today's race, we saw that, right?
Yeah.
With they really forced Hamilton to do those pit stops as well, right? Because they were right there, and I think at one point it felt like that it could become something like Barcelona, like the opposite of Barcelona, where if Hamilton hadn't pitted when Verstappen pitted the second time, he could have clawed back for sure.
Yes. There was some sort of doubts coming in from the Red Bull camp this side, like unlike Mercedes camp, where Hamilton and Bottas were doubting their race strategists. I think Perez was doubting his strategy this time around.
Yeah, Perez as well. I think there was this one place when I think he also pitted the second time. He was a little unhappy, and then his engineer was like, we promise that you'll be on the podium. And he almost was there. I mean, he could have gotten there if not for the virtual safety car, I guess, because he could have caught up with Alonso. And with fresher tires, I think he could have easily overtaken him.
Right. Yeah, man, I feel like there's just too much drama everywhere with these with these small things, and FIA is not quite behind into adding more drama and putting themselves into the mix too, right? The whole post quali double yellow flag, single yellow flag situation.
Yeah, I think FIA sometimes, at least these days, feels like they drag their feet on purpose just because that creates more drama. And with when you know that the result is going to come in, sometime just before the race, obviously that kind of adds spice to the whole mixture. And, it feels like, created drama, I would say, very honestly, because it doesn't give the sport a professional look, I think, in a way, because if your stewards require a whole day to decide whether to punish somebody for violating safety rules is just stupid. It doesn't make sense. Like, it was a slam dunk according to me. They should have given it right away.
Yeah, and I think it's the other thought that we are having at this point. I think it's the tandem working of marketing team with the stewards, where I think the marketing team's probably feeding in data that the delayed results there are, the more that this gets discussed on social media and the more traction F1 gets. So probably that's what's happening there. But well, I think finally, at least there's one thing we definitely agree on with respect to this track is the penalties given out to Bottas and Max for violating the flags. It was required to create that level of consistency. But I think there were too many schoolboys playing mess there, except Alonso and Vettel being like the good kids who did slow down. But there were a couple of few more. I don't know why only Max and Bottas got penalized for this.
Yeah, I kind of know the reason why, and I do understand that, even I was having the same reaction as you, right? That when I saw the data, it was clear that only Vettel and Alonso had slowed down and nobody else.
Yeah.
But what it turns out is basically the way these signaling systems are, how they work is that you have several marshal posts across the track, and each marshal is like looking at their own mini sector of the track, and if they see any danger in their mini sector, they'll be waving flags.
And this is going to be like a single yellow flag, I assume.
Exactly, single or double, depending on what kind of.
And it's their discretion to pick whatever they
exactly.
want.
Yep. And the thing is that the boards that we see, the digital boards that you see, I don't know exactly how they're controlled, but basically they must be either the marshals themselves must be having some button that they press there, or somebody else like monitors those marshals and like set the system accordingly. But there was a discrepancy between the digital boards and what the marshals on track were showing. But it's known that like whatever the marshals are showing overrides everything else, because they are actually there, right? So they actually see what's happening. So the flags are given the most amount of importance, and Max failed to slow down after the double yellow flags, and Bottas with the single
Yes,
yellow flag.
yes.
So that's why he got a 3-place grid penalty and Max got a 5-place grid penalty. And everybody else didn't get the flags from the marshals, and that's why they weren't punished for it.
Okay. That's interesting because there was news coming out of the camp that Sainz is in the green. He's not going to be penalized for that yellow flag discussion session. But yeah, I don't know. Okay, so that's interesting. That's good to know. But on the more dramatized side of things, I think it just proves on what we just made a passing comment last weekend that Christian Horner is also not someone who's a saint, and he's in controversy now this week with a comment of his that the marshal was a rogue marshal out there, so unsportsmanlike conduct there.
Yeah, that was wrong, and I think he's also gotten a summon from the stewards for that because he's broken some violations of the sporting conduct, and I totally agree. Like as a team principal, it's completely out of scope for you to decide what marshals were doing is correct or not, because that's not in your purview at all. You shouldn't be.
And it shouldn't. Yeah, exactly. It shouldn't even be, because like these guys are the people responsible for your safety. Like you don't want an unlucky Grosjean incident, right? I mean, it ended up being a fortunate situation.
And there's this discussion I actually read on Reddit about this as well, where somebody said that it's stupid that Horner said this because marshals by default are looking out for the safety of the drivers, and by default they are looking out for Max's safety as well. So basically, you're saying that his safety is not important to you. I mean, what are you talking about?
Yeah, no, that was a dick move from Christian.
Yeah,
for sure. But
talking about dick moves.
Exactly. You got me on my nerve at this point, man. There's so much arrogance coming out of that chair that Toto sits on, and I started despising him so much. And I mean, sure, I've never been sort of like an Hamilton fan. But the way he's been driving recently, and especially Brazil and today, I want to give him credit. I definitely want to give him credit where it's due. But Toto's arrogance is just sort of putting me off and giving me this much anger. He made a new comment that you've awakened a dragon after the Brazilian Grand Prix at Interlagos. And I'm like, first of all, if faster tracks is what it takes to get you awakened, then go drive at Daytona in ovals. Don't be in a hurry. But anyways, I know where his adrenaline pump is coming from. He just needs to tone it down a bit. More comments coming from him like, yeah, we're gonna bring in new gears and new tech into Saudi, so you'll have a reawakened Hamilton or something like that. Sure.
Yeah, Toto. Yeah, I've stopped listening to what he says. Like the same, I think last race as well. I think you were talking about his comments, and I had no idea about it because I've just stopped listening to what he says pretty much these days.
I need to do that because I need to get like a Toto shit filter into my ears, because I want to move to the positive side of things at the Mercedes garage, right? Like which is Hamilton. I mean, the way he's been driving at Brazil, at Qatar, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna repeat itself again in Saudi.
For sure,
it's gonna be Hamilton and then whoever bought, if that's what it was. Like it's gonna be P1 Hamilton for sure. He's renewed. He's back into that battle, and I love it.
Yeah, definitely. And I think this has always been the case. Hamilton is the strongest towards the end of the season. He always has been. And he gets stronger as the season ends. And that's what we're seeing exactly, right? He had a slump twice in the season, but I think he's completely gotten out of it. And he's just flying, honestly speaking.
Yeah.
Max never got close to him.
Yeah, no.
He was never a danger to Hamilton throughout the race. He led each lap of the race. And started first, finished first. Flawless performance.
Yeah, no, we were taken back to whatever 2019 more
Yeah.
dominance, Hamilton dominance era.
Yeah.
And sure, rightfully so, because it's not like other cars are slow. I mean, Max has been giving that tough fight throughout the season. So, no, rightfully, it was a good weekend from Hamilton.
Yeah, definitely. And I think Max was so bored that at a point he said on the radio that, anyways, we are going to be second anyways. So, let's have some fun. Let's try and close that gap. Let's try something different. And I think that's why he did like 3 pit stops, right?
Yeah, I guess. It's a different Max, right? I mean, I said it jokingly, but it definitely feels like Denny Kvyat's heartbreak has renewed Max in a positive way.
Yeah, I think like dealing with a girlfriend who has a kid has changed him.
For sure. But this season, all in all, has just been so good.
Yep.
Good. Alonso being like the 13th different driver to be on the podium just goes to show how dynamic, interesting, and varied in terms of all constructors this season has been.
Yep, definitely. And I think everything right. There are fights going on throughout the leaderboard. Obviously, we have the amazing battle between Max and Lewis.
Yeah.
But as we had talked about last time as well, I think the battle for P4, that's getting quite interesting as well.
Yeah,
the battle for P3, I'm not sure if Bottas continues to have the luck that he has had, then I think Perez can overtake him. But,
I mean, 13 points separate, and I feel like at least for when you're up there, 13 points is still doable in 2 races. So there is a chance of Perez overtaking Bottas into P3, I feel. But Bottas needs to find his mojo back at least for 2 races.
Yeah. And I really hope, I mean, I like Perez. He has a lot of future, but I really hope that Bottas somehow maintains that P3. Being his last season at Mercedes, I really want him to get that P3.
Yes, for sure. Exactly. That's why, I hope he finds his mojo back and stays there at P3.
Yep.
I think from last week episode, we've established Alpine's way out of Alpha Tauri's troubles for a fight in position. So that's gone.
Oh, by the way, in last time's episode, you said that Alpine is fighting with Aston Martin, and I just wanted to correct you about that.
I did, because I thought like it's gonna. In my brain, I was setting up a sentence where it probably I was gonna say Alonso fights Vettel, but I realized but Norris slipping down the ranks, especially with again this race, him having to pit, not being able to go. I think that was still a smart move rather than just having to retire the car, because he saw that visible degradation on their tires, and he saw what happened with Bottas, Latifi, and Russell. Good move on pitting, but that's brought in Norris tighter and closer to Sainz and Leclerc. So that fight is getting stronger. And I know we were speaking about this before the recording started, and I agree with you where Sainz is starting to become a favorite for sure. He's surpassing Leclerc, and Sainz is definitely getting into that mix, and he's proving himself again.
Yeah, I think it's weird. McLaren just seems to have written off this season, it seems like, suddenly, right?
Yeah.
I don't know whether they're not getting upgrades or something like that, and their performance has just fallen off. It suddenly seems like both Norris and Ricciardo as well kind of have lost interest as well. I don't know, it seems that way. It doesn't really seem like they're really, really fighting for it. Seems like they're taking a step back. But yeah, Sainz is doing great. Leclerc is doing great. Ferrari overall, showing a lot of potential for the next season as well. So I think they might just be the third fastest team come next year.
True. I want to switch gears at this point. And I mean, we've been giving out suggestions to Sky Sports, FIA, and to our fortune, thank you, random person who listens to us at FIA. Thank you for incorporating some of those changes. We've got one more for you. What's up with showing multiple replays right in lap 2, man? Come on, please.
It's so stupid. I don't get it. Why lap 2? Like, things haven't settled yet.
Exactly.
Just wait a little. Wait till lap 5 at least.
They'll have this one shot from the front, one shot from the rear, the helicopter camera.
Yeah.
It's like they have to justify all these budget costs that they keep spending with these multiple angles for the restart.
And they can actually show the live race picture in picture,
Yes.
right, while they're showing these replays. So I don't really understand. Like, it's picture in picture is not a new technology. It's literally overlaying.
Maybe
a different
FIA
video
is
on your
figuring
feed.
it out. I think they've spent all their efforts into building the car technology and making it revolutionary there. That picture in picture is foreign to them. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
But hey, random FIA person listening to us or random Sky Sport person listening to us, first of all, thank you for listening to us. Give us a shout out at the rate F1 But please, either picture on picture or wait until like lap 5 when Bottas has either crashed out or something settled down before showing those multiple replay cams.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. But Sky, I feel in general, Liberty Media should just end their deal with Sky because there's a lot of...
And get rid of the red
BS.
button too, speaking of that.
And by the way, okay, so since they have such a good red button, right, which shows replays, don't show us the replays on lap 2.
Oh, yes, that makes so much sense. Oh, man. Coming back to a final few thoughts, right? Let's bring some back markers into discussion. Williams and Haas. Sure, I mean, not a promising result from Mazepin himself, but I didn't think he was anywhere around in any controversy. Good driving. Sure, he kept his head down. I think his car wasn't even going to be ready because they had to do like a last minute chassis change on his car. So I'm grateful that at least he was able to come out. But having passed him in conversation, what was Mick doing? At least from those camera angles.
He was the naughty guy this time, right?
He was. At least from those camera angles, it felt so weird.
Yeah, I think he went out into the like outside the track. I think it was the same curb, near the same curb, which was just taking all the cars out. And he joined in so dangerously, or at least it looked dangerous. I don't know. Nobody complained, like Alonso didn't say anything, nobody investigated it. So I was a little confused. Maybe it was just some camera trickery.
And that was an interesting perspective, right? Like Mick's ahead, Alonso's trying to just lap him around. Mick's gone all the way to the right. He's coming in to the left so strong because he's got to make a right-hand turn. I'm like, Alonso's probably going to run into him at this point. But yeah, you're right. No one complained about it. So nothing's lost at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, I guess let's talk about the last guy on the track.
Sure.
Latifi. I think he had some interesting conversations with his engineer, right?
It was. And let's draw this picture up, right? Like, so I think lap 34 or 35 or something around when Bottas decided to check out the gravel outside the track. So Bottas is spewing gravel onto the track. Russell is in front of Latifi, and surprisingly, Latifi's got slightly better pace than Russell. So they are chatting it out on the radio, and for no reason, I'm pretty sure they've got some reason. We don't know that reason. For no reason at all, he's been asked to stay silent on the radio. Cut to Latifi asking if he can overtake Russell. And it just flips the engineer. I mean, not in an angry way, but more so defensively, like, no, that's a hard no. That's not happening. No.
It was a bit weird, and the intensity with which they were saying him to keep the radio clear, basically telling him to shut up politely.
Yes.
I don't know, felt a little weird. Maybe there was something going on. Who knows? But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's probably what you get when you're a paid driver. Speaking of which, I'm sort of getting annoyed with multiple pay drivers, and I hope this doesn't become a trend. Otherwise, it's just going to be mediocre drivers who can pay the driver on the track.
Yeah.
Congrats to Piastri while I'm on that thought. Getting that seat.
Reserve driver, right?
Yep.
For Alpine.
Reserve driver
Not
for
bad.
Alpine. Yes. But speaking of reserve drivers, I think Gasly is the reserve driver for
Red Bull.
for Red Bull.
The third driver, I think.
I guess so.
Pretty much. I think there was this radio by Max where he said, I'm kind of stuck here. And that obviously was like a open message for France Tots, if at all anybody, because Gasly soon went wide, didn't he?
He did. And I don't know if that was on purpose, but wink, wink for sure. Like, he went wide. The interesting bit comes after that. On the main straight, Gasly doesn't open up his DRS wings. He does not. And let's Max get the DRS, surpass him, and for whatever, like the 1/10 of the DRS straight left, he opens his DRS wing. That is a clear...
I didn't catch that, but that sounds super interesting.
That was. So that was a clear message to Red Bull Garage that if you ever want to let Perez go and Telcel's not giving you enough money, I'm here.
Yeah, just sucking up to the big boss.
True that. Well. I think this was
Two races to go, right? And we're so close, man. What I love is all the interesting conversations on Twitter and Reddit that I've been reading about all the different possibilities that can happen with what happens if they both crash out, what happens if they both, all that's literally, I saw one post which literally had a table of all possibilities that can happen and how would it end up.
What's your most obnoxious theory you've read which could end up becoming a reality?
I think, this one. I love this one. So, Hamilton wins the next race.
Saudi,
with,
yes, sure.
Yeah, with Max coming in second.
Okay, that ties them up.
That ties them up and they crash on lap 1, turn 1 in Bahrain.
Okay. And then we wait 1 year to figure out who...
Exactly.
Okay, sure. Sure. I for one do like this theory where that's what's happening in Saudi. And then at Abu Dhabi, Hamilton's gonna be in the lead. He's gonna try and lap Mick Schumacher. And then Mick's gonna come on the radio. No. Mick Schumacher. I stand corrected. Mick Schumacher.
Sorry.
And then Mick's gonna come on radio and be like, "This one's for you, father." And then he runs into Hamilton. You don't get an eighth.
Oh man.
That's what I want to see.
If that happens, remember everybody, you heard this first here.
Yes. You see that. On that note, actually, let's do one last prediction before we close this out. Race win prediction for a Saudi podium 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, 1, 2, and 3. I think it's going to be Hamverbot.
Oh, you think Hamverbot? I think it's going to be Hamver Perez.
Okay.
I see Red Bull being up there. Let's see.
Let's see.
Folks, on the episode show notes and comments, let us know what you think is going to be the podium for Saudi, and let's see which one of us gets it right. We'll give out a special shout out to whoever ends up being right. So let's get your comments in. On that note, 2 more races to go. We'll see you next after the Saudi race. We're not gonna have an episode next week. Let's spend the next week collecting whatever's happened throughout the season. And until then, this is F1 Fan Fiction signing off.
Bye-bye.